4T students, we're now in week 2 and want to say enjoyed reading all the global business briefings this past week. Again, kind of would like to see the cohort jump in a little bit early. I know there's a deadline of Friday, but one of the things I'm going to suggest is that this course really builds up towards the end. So the weekends become precious. I know that people have busy lives, but if you can kind of get that done earlier in the week, it's going to save you a lot of time to work on the projects, because you're going to need to start thinking about that in week 6, the base of pyramid report, and also in week 7, your final project. And with that project, just explain a little bit more. These things that you're doing in these weeks, weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is all building up. So when you get to that final paper, most of your paper is already going to be written. It's just kind of that last little piece that is discussed in the syllabus. And you can pick a product or service that can be real or it can be fictitious, but you're going to make the assumption that you're actually going to be going into that country and setting up shop. And it's whether it's skateboards in Peru somewhere. So how would you attack it from an international marketing plan? And as we go through the course, we'll go over more topics and talk about that. And do email me or send a message if you do have questions about that. Okay, continue with the global business briefing again this week. We're going to look at chapters 6 and 7. So in these chapters, you're going to look at the political differences, a little bit about political history, different types of systems. We have to, once again, adapt to those type of systems. We have to be respectful of those type of systems if we want to bring a new product or service to that market. And I like how the text pointed out, I think it was especially if we look on the chapter on page 186, ways to reduce the political risk. If you're wanting to move into a market and perhaps initially the United States has not been favored there, but you see a great opportunity, you're going to have to probably negotiate with that government or work with the locals to make sure your product is accepted in the market. And some of the things, if I look on this page, as I mentioned, you're going to have to argue to them that, hey, this is going to improve your trade position. Some of the other things, we're going to use locally produced goods. You're going to create jobs for local. You have to sell it from the idea that this is going to be a benefit for your party and our party. And it's going to improve your economic welfare. And if you can do those things, you're much more likely to be successful. Again, in dealing with foreign trade or no matter how we do it, like I said, in this course, we're making the assumption of direct foreign investment, but that could be exporting to that country. We could do kind of joint ventures or partnerships. But we have to be cautious about that we're following all the laws, and it's also that we're following U.S. laws too. So, and that's kind of what a lot of the next chapter talks about. In chapter 7 is all the legal environments. And I think what the textbook and the authors tell us is that so many times people try to market things overseas and they forget about all the legal aspects, or what to do if there is a bad situation. In the text they talk about intellectual property and how do we resolve disputes and concern of piracy. If I go in and market a product, do I find out that somebody's taken that idea, re-engineer it, and I've just kind of created competition for myself. So what are the good, the bad, and the ugly, if you will, of international marketing? But there's a lot of interesting points that they have in these chapters, and as you read through them, we could hopefully bring from some of that discussion in the forum discussion this week with week 2. So when you look for a article this week, try to look at things such as that. Is it the political environment? Is it something legally? Was it an intellectual property article? Was it something about somebody was upset about what the World Trade Organization was doing? So because they talk about these things in these chapters too, is about these barriers, trade barriers, quotas, and everything else. It could be impediment to your marketing overseas. Okay, the other thing I want to make sure we talk about is that economic analysis template. Before you do any type of international marketing, you want to get a good grasp on how that economy is doing. It could be that is a developing economy and it's a great opportunity for a certain type of product, or it could be an emerging economy and it might be different reasons for growth that you want to enter the market. But some of the big 3 to me have always been unemployment, inflation, GDP, and interest rates. I think I have there, and also you'll look at some things in that template. So how I want you to approach this template is if you go to the template, and I'm giving you kind of a description. So whatever 2 countries that you're looking at, think about your project. is go in there and look up some of these things on the website. I put the website there as a link, and if you type in like real interest rates, it should bring it up for the different countries. Sometimes it's just going to be non-applicable, but try to gather as much information as you can about the economic indicators for that country, because that can help a business make decisions whether they really want to enter that market or not. What are the benefits? What are the costs? If the exchange rates are very expensive and we try to make a profit overseas and bring it back, is that going to hurt us? So try to examine as much as you can about that economy, and help you make a decision. I mean, ultimately for your project, I'm just going to say, yeah, go for it. Even if things don't look so good, but you make a choice, and it's kind of we work with that economy. But you can use the link I have there, or you can use other resources on the website, or you can go to Baker University Library website and look for economic indicators, whatever works best for you. So fill out the template and then write a 2 to 4 page summary about what you learned about those economies. What differences did you see? So, all right, last thing I want to make sure to go over for this week. I'm going to look over the Hofstede exercise that you did. I'll have things graded probably by the middle of the week. I'm interested in reading those. I think you'll found probably some interesting things when you're looking at the different, things like power index, masculinity, whether one culture kind of deals as a whole or individualism. So, and we have to take these things in consideration as we looked at our chapters last week. We have to adapt to that situation, because if we don't adapt, it's going to be much harder to market that product. We got to make sure that the local culture feels that they're part of this product in order to be successful. So, well, I look forward to talking to you all online. If you do have any questions, just post something in the news forum or send me a message directly. It seems to be working well so far. And again, try to jump in that forum discussion early in the week, and that will kind of benefit everybody else so they can see it and start getting their posts done. So take care and have a great week.